I'm Hope Beverstein. I'm 85 and I love to travel, and the more exotic places the better. In this bookstore I found this amazing book called Arabia Felix, which means Happy Arabia, and the photographs, they were just magnificent, and I dreamed of how beautiful it would be one day to go there. And when I got a chance to go to Yemen, that was great. Yemen is in the Middle East and the southernmost tip of the Arabian Peninsula, and its history goes back thousands of years. I would be traveling across the country, sometimes through areas patrolled by soldiers and rebels. My journey begins in Sanaa, the capital city of Yemen. Thank you. Thank you. There seem to be many different kinds of people in Yemen, but all the ones we met were very kind to us and friendly. May I take his picture? And your picture? And your picture? With the picture? All right. Okay. I have to be back a little bit. Very good.
Thank you.
Hello.
يمني هذا مصر يمني.
You're Yemeni?
يمني.
Yes, Yemeni. And I'm Canada.
أنتي أي
This
Canada.
is wonderful. May I borrow it to cut his head off?
مشى؟
Yeah.
Huh?
Every man has a dagger strapped to his chest. Yes. Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? Very nice. They're not ones that are meant to kill people, but they're very decorative and beautiful. Very good, very good. Yes.
Okay.
My guide Farrell was excellent. He had been in America, so that's how he could speak English so well. He helped in every way and explained everything that we saw. One day he took me to the market to buy some quat. Quat is a plant that grows very well in Yemen. It's some leaves that you chew, and it makes you feel pretty good. I didn't want to try it myself, but I thought I'd go with Quartal to see how it's bought. It's green leaves on the tops of twigs. It's grown very easily, apparently, much easier than coffee, and it's very popular. Something like tobacco. I didn't try it, but apparently it gives you a high. Very good stuff. Next day, Fadl took me to see a village dating from the Middle Ages. The ancient buildings have started to crumble with the years, and now the village is semi-deserted. So many roofs are broken. Is this town deserted?
No, it's not. But some of them, when a part of the house fell down, they don't have the money. They couldn't afford it to build it again.
And they're doing the washing down there, do you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. And spreading their clothes out to dry.
You can see the architecture and type of buildings here. It used to be a place where the Jewish people lives here. Also, they used to make the jewelry, the silver, in this place.
And when was the town built?
In the Middle Ages.
It's very beautiful. I thought I should at least know how to count in Arabic. These boys were helping me count to 10.
My God, too much.
Dad knew of a wedding that afternoon, so he took me there. When we arrived, the actual wedding was over, but there was a lot of dancing, which was great fun to watch. They were beautiful dancers, and one of them was only 5 years old. He was very good. Next day, Fadl took me to Copperburn, a village perched on the top of a hill. A very strategic place. There's very good fortification. Many cities were bombed during Yemen's 1962 civil war. The conflict was over land and has been going on for years. The war is now over, but there are still rebels operating in the desert.
It has been bombed in 1962 when we had the civil war between the Republic and Royalist people, when we had the revolution.
Was this one bombed down here?
No, it wasn't.
No.
That one used to be at the capital. You can see the castle. It has been established in the 18th century.
Wow, what a view.
Beautiful.
We wanted to go across the desert to Maryrib. And when tourists wanted to go across the desert, they liked them to all go together, and then they were led by an armed guard with big guns. The trouble with the Bedouin tribes, they've always been a free, nomadic people, and they don't like to be told that you can't go to certain places because they're owned by other people. And so they would capture tourists sometimes and keep them as a special thing they could exchange for getting their own way. I wasn't nervous about traveling to this country because Fadl was such an excellent guide and looked after me so well. I felt perfectly safe. In Maryrib, I was taken to a famous archaeological site. 8 enormous pillars. And the local people like to think these pillars are from the temple of the Queen of Sheba. Although archaeologists say that no, they were built a bit later. Then I went to Old Maryrib, very ancient town, but now in ruins. The town had been bombed during the Civil War in 1962, and it remains in ruins to this day. I met this old woman, and she seemed to be about the only family living in the town, who was telling me how the village was bombed. Bombs? Bombs?
Bombs. Oh, bomb. Fum.
You here? You were here? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, bum.
Oh.
هنا كل boom.
There were ruins everywhere. Then Fadl took me to the old dam. This was an amazing feat of engineering. And this wall is 2,500 years old.
Yes, it is. And it used to support a place called Wadi Uzaina. It's considered the first dam in the world.
I don't know who built the old dam, but I know in Queen of Sheba's time, hundreds of people lived there doing agriculture. Because they had enough water.
It was a little canals right
canals?
here. Yeah, and also agriculture.
And it enabled the surrounding hills to be covered with vegetation and to grow crops and have a prosperous town there. But it finally silted up, and then with an earthquake, it completely collapsed, and now it's just desert. And they're building a new dam. So this was all water?
Yeah.
And for how many kilometers far out?
About 12 square kilometers.
12 square kilometers.
Yeah.
From Maryrib to get to Shibam, it's advisable to have an armed guard. And we were lucky to get a very handsome Bedouin man. He was actually a doctor and did anesthetics in the hospital. He carried an extra gun and protected us all the way, the 9-hour journey. Groups had crossed this desert for centuries. And that, of course, was a trade route. Frankincense and myrrh and all sorts of wonderful stuff which they took to other countries. It must have been a very tiresome journey to have gone on a camel, like they had done for centuries. We finally arrived at Shibam, famous for its high-rise buildings in the middle of the desert. I enjoyed walking through the streets of Shibam. It was lovely and shady. Muslims are very devout and devoted to their religion. Their religion gives them great strength. Shibam had these great tall buildings, and in the streets were children and animals, mostly, very few cars. And then you push the button. Oh no, she took a picture. She took a picture. She took a picture. She's so funny. What was your name? Basima? What was it? Basima? Basima? Very nice, lovely. And Ejima? Abiya. Abiya. Abiya, that's beautiful. And these enormous tall buildings, some of them 8 stories high, were built centuries ago. Most of them are built of mud and stones. They say that Shibam is the Manhattan of the desert because of its tall buildings. After days in the desert, we finally arrived at the sea, and such a beautiful sea. The town of Makalla was mostly rebuilt, but I couldn't keep my eyes off the sea. Out at sea was a large, rusty ship, and we were told it was coming in the harbour, but it hit some rocks and has been in the harbour ever since. And Farrell found a fisherman who took us out to see the boat. I enjoyed the boat ride to the old wreck, and the old wreck was such beautiful colours, all rusty golds and browns. It was very interesting. And we were told how the poor thing was stuck on the rocks. It was full of rice, and the rice had all been ruined. And the owner went bankrupt and couldn't fetch the boat, so it just rotted. Back in Sanaa, there's a fine market. You could buy just about anything. Jewelry stores have all kinds of fascinating jewelry, quite different from what you're used to seeing. And so I felt I should get a couple of necklaces. Yes, I'd like a necklace, please. Yeah. Well, that's very beautiful. But how much is it?
This is 60.
I think it's too expensive. Can you find me a cheaper one? Yeah. Well, that's very nice. Beautiful. Yes, I
It's
like
about
that.
$20.
How about that one?
ايش هذا؟
It's very beautiful, isn't it? Beautifully made. That's a very nice one.
Yeah. It's about $30.
I think I'll buy this one. Yeah, lovely. At the end of the trip back in Sanaa, Fadl introduced me to his son and father.
Oh, this is my father. His name is Mohammed.
I have to put my glasses on to see
Yeah.
him this way. Hello.
Hello.
This is my son here, Iyad. He's a 3 years old boy.
They're warm and hospitable people and made me feel welcome. Well, Yemen is a very ancient country and it has the most incredible long history. It had a tremendous civilization long before Christ was born. It was a great experience to see how these people lived. After 10 days in this remarkable country, it was time to return home. Yemen has had its past wars, but what I learned about its history and people has shown me its beauty. Oh yes, I enjoyed it very much.